going to go over how to optimize your website as a photographer for SEO. First of all, if you are a photographer, you probably know that you want to rank higher on Google or whatever search engine. That is what SEO is. So we're optimizing your website so you can start to rank higher. The first thing I wanted to talk about is alt tags. This is huge if you're a photographer, or really if you're anyone with a business that has a website and photos. First of all, what is an alt tag? Alt tags were created for the visually impaired using screen readers. So it's not just bots that are doing this, and it's the text, so that like it also will pop up if the image can't load. That's the text that will show. So what are some benefits of alt tags? If they're used correctly, they can help you with your SEO. Google bots will crawl the site and they'll read the image, and if you have keywords that you want to rank for in there, it can help you rank higher. So what can you do about this? Change your alt tag, and while you're at it, change the image name. So a lot of times images will be titled img_123.jpg. Try adding in some keywords there. That shouldn't be your main focus. Your primary goal is to explain. So if somebody can't see the image, you want to explain to them what the image is about. But if you are able to add in some of your keywords, great, extra bonus. In Squarespace, how you do this is if you click the image, under it, it'll say image alt text, and you can edit it and explain what that image is. This is a really great place to focus on building and optimizing your images for SEO. Again, that shouldn't be your main focus. And another thing to always make sure you're avoiding is keyword stuffing in one image. So that's like if you are a photographer in Philadelphia, let's say you would title this is not good, title your image Philadelphia photography, photographer, photographs. Like you want to make it so how you would talk, and that you shouldn't do keyword stuffing like that on the copy of your website. You shouldn't do it in photos, so on and so forth. All right, I'm going to take you behind the scenes on a Squarespace website and show you what I'm talking about. First of all, before I do that, if you don't have keyword phrases in which you're trying to rank, I highly suggest just going into Ubersuggest, looking up a keyword phrase that you think people may use to search for your business, and it'll come up with a search volume and an SEO difficulty. Ideally, you want your search volume to be way more than 10. We're talking like 100 to plus for your search volume. The big thing to look at is SEO difficulty. Ideally, that's going to be between 15 and 35. If it's higher than 35, it will probably be too difficult of a keyword to rank for. So just make sure it's in that range. And then if it is, that's a good keyword phrase to use on your photos and throughout your website. So now, just like I mentioned, if you come in to your website and let's go to a photo. So we will click edit, double click the image. This is the image alt text. So this is where you can describe what that image is to improve the accessibility as well as the SEO. So these are home inspectors, and that might be a keyword phrase that I have found I want to use throughout the website. It also explains what this is. So these are, for home inspectors. So I could just say home inspectors in front of cars or whatever it is. The next thing you want to do is retitle the SEO title for the image. So I do this prior to uploading my images, ideally to Squarespace. So on my computer, I will compress my images, which I will go into in a second, and then I also retitle them. But if you haven't done that, come in right here and you'll see this is the title, the file name. So this is what you will change the file name if you can to be what the image is about. Again, you want to be honest. But you could make it a little bit more strategic than Brandon or whatever it is currently titled. You can use hyphens or underscores to separate the title. So again, this is for guys who are home inspectors. So you could do home inspectors Washington .jpg, and that works. So then you can click out of here and it'll save that. Okay, so step 3 is to compress your images. You can do this manually, or you can use something like Tiny PNG or Tiny JPEG to compress them. You want it to be 2500 pixels by 1500 pixels or smaller. because you want it to load quickly. People aren't going to sit there for 3 seconds while a photo loads. They're going to click off. I just try to make sure all my images are under 1 MB. I think Squarespace suggests even smaller than that, but I haven't found that to be, that doesn't slow it down too much. So compress all your images prior to uploading them to Squarespace. Okay, a few more tips for your website. Go to Pages, and now that we've figured out those keyword phrases that you're going to use in your photos, you also want to implement that on the actual website. So the first place is to go to the page, whatever page, it doesn't matter. Click on this settings wheel, and you will change the page. Go to SEO right here. And then you will change the meta description, which is down here, the SEO description, as well as the SEO title. So this is the about page. If your about page is just titled about, most likely people aren't searching ABOUT, and you will pop up on Google, right? You need to explain what you do. So for this particular person, I did about Spokane home inspections. Maybe for you, about, Philadelphia wedding photographer, or whatever it is. It still tells them what that page is about. So when they see it on a search engine like Google, they know what page they're clicking on, but it also has those keyword phrases. The next place to put it is in the SEO description. This is the meta description. One thing to think about when you're adding in that keyword phrase is you want the meta description to be really compelling. When somebody searches whatever type of photographer on Google, a whole bunch of people are going to come up. And you want that meta description to really pull them in. So start to think about, well, what are some ways that I can pull in the bride and groom or whoever is searching for you? Maybe it's explaining exactly what type of photography you do. So I love working with the adventurous couple that wants to elope, or whatever it is. Maybe it's being funny. Just think about ways that you can really pull them in using that meta description. So those are the next two places to add your keyword phrases. And then final place that you can add it is in the actual copy of your website. So just start going through. I always suggest just write out your website how you would talk, or write out your blog how you would talk, and then go in and say, okay, where can I organically add in these keyword phrases so that it doesn't sound weird? So just start scrolling on through, and right here it says home inspections. Maybe I could put Spokane home inspections. So just, again, you're just going through and seeing, okay, where can I add in those keyword phrases? Photography, photographer. You don't need to use that exact keyword phrase in that exact order that you found on Ubersuggest. Google is really smart, so you can use variations and they'll be able to figure that out. So those are the top 5 tips I have for you. Doing those 5 things throughout your website, you will be set up for success in getting your photography website showing up on page 1 of Google. Now, the thing about search engines is, although you can do all this stuff on the back end, you want to be continually telling Google, hey, I'm an expert. Hey, I'm an expert. And the way that I suggest doing this is blogging. Blogging is not dead. It is still very valuable, even if the only person that reads your blog is the photography session you blogged. They're the ones who are sharing it with their mom and dad. First of all, that's fine, because people are landing on the website that wouldn't usually be landing on your website potentially. And then second of all, it has those keyword phrases that you've established in your blog post, and it is allowing you to tell Google that you are an expert. So definitely suggest blogging, even if you can only do it once a month. 12 blogs a year allows you to have 12 more pages on your website, again, showing that you are an expert in that particular field. And then also, a lot of times people will, if you blog a wedding or whatever, they'll share that blog post of their wedding. So it is so beneficial for you to be doing that. I have a ton of extra SEO tips, but I didn't want to overwhelm you. So once you implement these, I would definitely suggest getting in the free training I have. It's a 30-minute training. It's jam-packed. If you are new to trying to kind of DIY your website, this training is for you. For any creative entrepreneur that just really wants to get their website out into the world quickly, and then of course starting to gain that traction so that it's showing up on search engines. And then of course I also teach how are we getting that website to convert. So I will link that training below, and please let me know if you have any questions.